Okay, day 115, the DynCorp harvest. Today I want to really draw a clear, bright line between folks that do charity work like Médecins Sans Frontières, Doctors Without Borders, and so forth. I've watched a lot of videos of these folks in Haiti and other places doing a lot of great work. And I just want to say I think those folks are just doing a fantastic job. It's when you put this profit motive underneath that work and you involve companies like DynCorp who have this history of the sexual abuse of the kids and the drug running and the organ harvesting, that's when I start drawing the bright line here and saying, hey, we really need to look at how we're managing this activity. For instance, Hillary Clinton started this International Center for Missing and Exploited Children in 1998. And it's looking over 22 countries, and I think it manages a total of like 120 countries. The problem with that, when you take that on, what you need to then deliver is a database of all the people that you have managed so that so there's transparency. You can't have this closed approach where the 650,000 emails as to what I've been doing is hidden. You can't have emails to a child trafficker and that be hidden. You have to, if you're going to do charity, you have to do transparency. That's what I'm saying. And from what we've seen throughout this whole process is it's been the absolute opposite of transparency. Okay, so I did want to say that there are, people are asking me, Richard Branson, what is his role? Well, he went on an organ crusade in England, making sure that everyone in England was a mandatory donor. You had to opt out. I don't know if it passed or not, but it just passed in France. So I know this is quite the push here. And it's, they cite a a liver patient in this case and all the trouble she's going through and how much an organ transplant would help and how many people die per day waiting for organ transplants. And I get that. And I love the idea. Like I said, my son's a doctor and he's at one of the best transplant hospitals for hearts in the world. I love the idea of saving another life. That is a great idea. And I just think that there has to be more transparency and more detail and more data following these hearts. Eve Branson here is one of the board members. She's 91. She's still going strong. I think she may be older than that now. She's still going strong. She's a board member here. Here's all the board members for this ICEMC. It was started in Washington, D.C. in 1998, as I mentioned, with Tony Blair's wife, Cheryl, and Hillary. Again, if you're going to do this, you have to be open. Hillary should produce the 650,000 emails, if for no other reason than to completely establish that nothing was untoward with these kids. Okay, and I do want to point a hero out here to me. I misspelled her name. I'm sorry. Patty Wetterling, who is the chairman of ICEMC. She had a son that was taken from her when I think it was in 1999. He was 11 years old. So there are people in this that are extremely valid and that are doing the right thing. She has also been a strong advocate of reducing the scope of these sexual offender lists, because what happens is, let's say Richard Branson has a fight with his wife, and there's a nasty custody battle, and then one of them accuses the other one of doing something with the kids in a moment of anger or a moment of not very much clarity. That stays on the record. Now Richard Branson is labeled as a sexual offender. Well, that might not seem to anybody who knows the couple, and a couple of years later, it's all blown over and everything works out fine. They're going to each other's houses on holidays like I do with my ex-wife. She invites me over for dinner with her new husband. It's great. But everybody goes through rough patches. Well, law enforcement doesn't look at it that way, especially revenge groups, especially private revenge groups. Private revenge groups go, hey, he's a sexual offender. Let's do the disruption, life disruption. And we make a lot of money when we do life disruption on someone. We just have this team go around, mess with his life, and we get paid by the intelligence agencies in New York, in the U.S. It would be through something like DynCorp or one of the other contractors, one of those 7,000 contractors, and there's many subcontractors. So Pam Wetterling here has a great idea, which is reduce the list to actually people who have been caught and focus the energy on people who have actually exploited children or kidnapped children. So again, I'll finish it off here quick today, just the 650,000 emails, if no other reason than transparency. If there are emails to Laura Silsby, and we know there are, just for that reason alone, smoking gun alone, produce the 19 Gmail accounts, because if other folks in the State Department are involved in the trafficking of minors, even if it's for some kind of CIA, DynCorp, or Global Osprey, operation, it needs to be exposed, because it's going to be exposed anyway, only it's not going to have the benefit of the person being forthright for themselves. That's my point. Again, this is when the times when all true patriots come to the aid of their country. They just admit, if Andrew McCabe should just admit, hey, it was wrong to take the $675,000 bribe. It was wrong to want agents in Iraq for something, in order to, change the classification of these emails. It's wrong to stall and slowfoot the processing of these 650,000 emails. And just go walk over, to Parit's office in the district attorney in New York and say, hey, I was wrong. Nobody's going to prosecute you. Just say, okay, let's publish the metadata and we'll, add some clarity. At least the metadata to add some clarity to this, because if there's a lot of emails to Laura Silsby, I'm telling you, that's going to be a problem. Or if there's a lot of emails to Tony Puello, or a lot of emails to fixers down in Colombia and so forth, in Haiti and El Salvador and Honduras, that's going to be a problem. That's more later this afternoon.